First of all, my studio is still a mess, but it's a different mess. It's changing and moving and progressing, slowly but progressing. If you're curious about why it's a mess, check this video out right here and I kind of explain it. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to give myself a challenge. Lately, I've been really having fun doing animation. Nothing that I've really shown here on my channel yet. When I was little, that was my dream job. I wanted to be an animator. Specifically, I wanted to work for a certain mouse that you may know. Even though that was many years ago, I still love animation, specifically like rough animation. When it gets up to the cleaning the lines up, it's not as much fun for me. Just sketching out rough sketches and watching them come to life, there's something magical about that. When I was younger, there was no access to computers. Yeah, computers. They weren't a thing. So if you wanted to do animation, you had to do it the old-fashioned way and do it on paper. One popular technique for doing hand-drawn animation is to do a little flipbook. It has been years since I have attempted to do a flipbook, so I was excited and intrigued when December's Smart Art Box was a flipbook themed box. A few videos ago, I asked you for some ideas or suggestions of what I should do for my little flipbook. It's only going to be about less than 3 seconds because flipbooks are not that big. They're not meant for 5-minute animations or anything, not even 10-second animations. They're really simple and they're really small too. You guys came up with so many great ideas. A lot of them I didn't want to just use on a flipbook because I want to be able to flesh them out and really do some fun things with them. So that was the first challenge, was to actually come up with an idea of what I wanted to create. Sometimes the temptation is just to jump into the actual animation process, but you have to remember that it is a process. And the first step that you need to think about before starting an actual animation, whether it's a big animation or just a little tiny flipbook, is to do a character design. You can go super detailed into this or just kind of a basic generic idea, but you need to know what your character is going to look like, have a set image, what the lines are going to be, so you can keep and hold that consistency throughout your full animation. So I did several different SketchUps. Some of you had suggested doing like a bunny hopping across the page, and that was really cute, but there was a lot of detail in the actual bunny itself that I thought might be hard to convey in a flipbook. Other suggestions were a flower blooming. Several of you guys suggested a bird flying or a hummingbird. One of you guys suggested like a baby dragon, which I think is an adorable idea, and I did a sketch for it and he was so cute. And this was one of the character designs that I thought, I have to wait on this one because I want to put a little thought into this animation. Ultimately, I decided to go with the hummingbird. For one, I got good inspiration to do hummingbirds. The hummingbirds that we have here locally are intense and crazy, and they don't migrate. A lot of places you get hummingbirds during the summer and then they migrate off for the winter. But here our hummingbirds just stay. It never gets super cold where I live, so they just hang out at the old hummingbird feeder. Except when I want to actually get some B-roll footage of a hummingbird, like I had to sit there forever waiting for them to come. And then as soon as I would put the camera down, boom, they would come. But I finally got a little shot this morning while I was making my breakfast of the hummingbirds coming to the hummingbird feeder. So there you go. So after I chose my character and got a character design done, I needed to do a short storyboard. Again, this is only like a tiny little flipbook, but you have to know what your character is going to do. I made a few timeline boxes and kind of sketched in what I wanted the hummingbird to do. The hummingbird will fly in onto the stage, do a couple little hummingbird things, and then shoot, zip out. I ended up having to condense this down a little bit just because there was not enough pages in the flipbook to do that long of an animation, but I still think it's going to turn out okay. Normally when you do animation, traditionally where you're drawing on paper, you use a light box, which is a device that has a light source underneath it and kind of shines your artwork between it. I have one of those personally, but I knew A lot of people that are just getting into this may not have that, and Smart Art gave a great suggestion for their small little sketchbooks, which is to use your cell phone as a light box, turning it on and having the light and then just drawing using that. And it worked really well, except if my fingers ever kind of touched the screen, sometimes it would flip through pictures. So I would just put it on the picture mode, and it worked surprisingly well. I was very excited about that. Because the sketchbook wasn't huge, it didn't take me as long as I thought it was going to create a hummingbird. And of course, hummingbird was some really easy, simple shapes, just like a circle for the head and then a contoured triangle shape for the body. I was trying to decide how I wanted to do the wings. Did I want to sketch some actual lines in there? And I ended up just using a Copic marker to smudge in the color of the wings. And I think that was a fabulous way to go. It just turned out super cool. I love it. Now these are the steps that I take for actually animating something. First, I go in with just a really light sketch and sketch in the base shape. I'm not going in for the detail. I just want to make sure that the movement of the actual animation is flowing and fluid. After that looks good, then I'll go back in and add in the detail. And because the Smart Art box included these Faber-Castell brush pens, I wanted to try them out, and I have never tried this brand before. These worked fantastic. I absolutely loved how the brush nibs were. They weren't too hard, but they weren't super soft either, and the color was super vibrant. So I went ahead and actually colored the full animation. It's kind of hard to flip through this animation while recording it, but here it is, the full colored animation. And I was really happy with how it turned out. Now this is not the normal method that I use when I animate. I like to draw my animation on the computer and I use Clip Studio Paint. If you have the simple version, you can do a 3-second animation. If you have the bigger version, you can do however big you want of animation. So I wanted to go ahead and try to recreate this really quickly and see what it would look like doing what I'm more comfortable with in animation, using my computer and my tablet to draw that out. But still, it's the same technique. A lot of times when people think, oh, you're drawing on the computer, there's all these cheats. The only cheat that there is the edit undo. That's the only really big cheat that I use in this. There's the lasso move tool, but I actually didn't have to use that on this one. It just gave me a bigger workspace and had the ability to flip through my animation cells a little bit easier is pretty much the biggest difference. That and unlimited amounts of paper. So here is the finished animation that I did in Clip Studio Paint. I had a little bit more freedom to get more expressive with my character and actually add a few more frames. So it actually only took me about 22 minutes to do the animation in Clip Studio Paint. I'm not exactly certain how long it took me in the actual Flipbook itself, but I would think it was roughly about the same amount of time, probably adding a little bit more because I added color. If you're interested in seeing more videos on animation or even some tutorial videos on how I animate in the process, let me know in the comment section below. I'd like to share that part of the journey with you. Right now, it's just kind of a fun hobby for me, but I'm finding it fun, so maybe you'd find it fun. A big thanks to Smart Art Box for, again, sponsoring this video, helping me to bring fun content to you guys. If you're interested, you guys can check out their monthly subscription box. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in this video. I have a lot of work to do, as you can see, so I better get to that. If you're brand new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And as always, God bless you guys, and we'll see you in another art video. Bye-bye! This is a redwood tree that I have in my backyard, and you can totally hear the hummingbirds in the background until I start recording and then they stop.